During the session of enhanced fund analysis, I'm going to just explain to you a little bit about the funds and how they interact within the core foundation of NetSuite and all of its accounting principles. And we'll run through sort of how you're tracking your fund from the opening position, the movements that are happening, the adjustments, and how that looks via the reports, and just so you can get yourselves familiar with how that's interacting with NetSuite. There are a number of different fund types that are available, but for this section, I'm just going to be concentrating on the restricted and designated. So first of all, I'm just going to open up and review one of the reports. This is a transaction level detail report, just to give you sort of an idea on the data that's been tracked against the individual transaction level, but not just transaction level, but the line level and the associated GL codes, okay, which means that these fund types and the fund numbers are all sort of integrated so that they can be tracked against your nominal codes. They're financial segments which are core to NetSuite, which means that you're able to do all of your analysis against those fund types and fund numbers in order to get the reporting out that you need and the tracking that you need throughout the weeks and the months. All of these reports are very much standard within NetSuite. They all have really good filters within them so that you can start filtering out any of the particular fund types. I've just got mine filtered to designated and restricted at the moment, but I could change any of the dates to change the view that I'm seeing on here. I'm just going to scroll down towards the bottom of the report, and I'm going to pick out one of the invoices just to show you how that looks. This particular invoice has got an item associated to it and also the fund type and a fund number. Now, these fund types and fund numbers, they can be defaulting onto the transactions, they can be manually entered onto the transactions, but they are core to the transactions and they are mandatory, so they need to be populated. And within here, they have the fund type, as I say, concentrating really on the restricted and designated, but you can see a number of other fund types in here. Endowment, a general, and we have some for sort of balance sheets as well. But designated and restricted for now drives the fund numbers. When either of those two fund types are selected, they are going to require that a fund number is entered. Again, this just strengthens the financial bond to the nominal account code for your analytical reporting. Once the transactions are processed, all of that data feeds into any of the financial information as soon as that transaction has posted. As I say, the data can default in, and in this instance, the item that I have associated to the line, which is also associated to a specific nominal code, you can have the fund type as restricted or designated assigned at the item level. And also, if you wanted to, if this item was fund number specific, that data can also be added in. Again, just reducing users having to think about what needs to be processed and it just taking care of itself during those transactions. So when the movements are taking place, NetSuite has a very great sort of easy user interface for reporting. So I'm just going to pick out another report that we've got on here, and this is listing the movements that have taken place within the current month, and these are listing all of the transactions of movements that have taken place, but also highlighting to me the adjustments that have taken place against the particular fund. So I've got and highlighted the ones that have been made for a fund adjustment. So this is where, just taking a snippet for today's purpose, those 3 lines. Okay, so I can then take out the via journal and contra out the postings that have been made during the course of that month, and then reduce the fund. Okay, so those can be processed and would typically be processed off the back of the detailed report that I would show, and then using NetSuite's native CSV importing tools, you would just pick up, map your latest file to a predefined import template, and then the adjustments can be made against the funds. So then just taking a look, I can take a look at a fund balance. This summary level report allows me to look at the restricted fund 2 in this instance. You can just see over there on the right hand side that the balance is 98,550. This value is made up from the opening position, which was a donation that was made against the fund. And then I can see that journal that was processed. And that was just made up of a couple of transactions from that detailed report showing the Excel and NetSuite training that were listed on there. So it's easy to track and record in order to get the balance against these transactions. And each of these segments with the funds, as I say, all pull together to give you the analysis that you need for your fund reporting.